Hello, 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 hello.
हेलो अभी क्लियर है ना अभी सुनो हेलो 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 माइक चेक हेलो इधर इधर नहीं आ रहा है ठीक रहा कल हेलो हेलो दिल्ली चला ले माफिक चला दिल्ली चला ले अब बाहर हो जाओ अब बाहर हो जाओ हेलो 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 माइक चेक हेलो 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 एक मिनट हेलो 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 अच्छा हेलो एकदम बाहर से आप जाओ अब इतना क्लियर आएगा ना तो यहाँ से मत बोलो बाहर से बोलो हाँ मैं बाहर से बोल दूंगा ना हेलो 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 माइक चेक हेलो यो त अनलाइन पोसौँ मलाई हेलो
जब सेशन नहीं चल रहा ना तब यहाँ पे वो वीडियो बाइट चलानी जो हम सबके देखते हैं फिर क्या फायदा
Hello, hello.
दो तीन है ये चेक कर रहा हूँ ना इस वजह से जो क्योंकि मेरा मेन सिस्टम से चल रहा है सब इस वजह से अच्छा अच्छा हाँ हाँ हाँ, हो सकता है यहाँ पे एक माइक दिया था ना मैं यहाँ से देख रहा हूँ बंद कर रहा हूँ मैं यहाँ से
ठीक है सर, अब बोल रहा हूँ. हेलो, 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 हेलो.
तो वो तो माइक में बंद कर दिया सब
हेलो, हेलो, हेलो चेक. हेलो, 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 हेलो. हेलो टेस्टिंग. हेलो, 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 हेलो.
कुछ तो मैं कर रहा हूँ पास से लेके हेलो 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 वो तो यूँ हो रहा है यूँ तो यूँ हो रहा है हेलो हेलो हेलो
हेलो हेलो
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to technical session 4 of World Honey Conclave 2026 on cultural heritage, traditional knowledge, and epitourism. I, Sakifai Asim Khan, am honored to serve as moderator for this session. Before we begin, I'd like to respectfully acknowledge our distinguished chairperson, keynote speakers, deans of various schools, delegates, researchers, and participants joining us today. Our session today explores an important intersection of heritage, sustainability, indigenous wisdom, and community based development. The discussions promise to highlight how traditional knowledge systems and epitourism can contribute to ecological conservation, local livelihoods, and cultural continuity. It's my pleasure to call upon the stage the chairperson for this session, Dr. Giridhar Parvatam. Dr. Giridhar Parvatam is working as a scientist in CSIR, Central Food Technological Research Institute, Mysuru since 1999. He was a DAAD fellow at University of Bayreuth, Germany, and Boycast fellow at Institute of Research and Development, Montpellier, France. Dr. Giridhar's research contributions over the past 21 years in the interface of plant biotechnology and food science and technology specifically explores the nutritional and nutraceutical potential of unexplored and lesser known plant parts for harnessing bioactive compounds and phytonutrients to develop health food formulations that offer value addition to these plants. So far, he has successfully developed 2 processes and had 9 patents. We're grateful for your presence and guidance, sir. We'll begin with the keynote addresses. The keynote speakers for this technical session are Mr. Vivek Saxena from Fergun Foundation and Ms. Anuja Gupta from Ladakh Orchards. I request both keynote speakers to take their seats on the stage. Our first keynote speaker is Mr. Vivek Saxena from Fergun Foundation, Ladakh. Mr. Vivek Saxena is a social entrepreneur and founder of Fergun Social Initiative Foundation, working towards strengthening rural enterprise ecosystems in Himalayan communities, especially in Ladakh. His work focuses on promoting sustainable livelihoods by connecting local enterprises, markets, tourism, and community systems. He is also associated with NSRCEL IIM Bangalore and the Unlimited India Fellowship Program. We warmly welcome you, sir. He'll share his insights on topic Beyond the Bottle, building Ladakh's honey economy through trust, enterprise, and experience, connected to community engagement, sustainable initiatives, and the growing relevance of epitourism in regional development. May I now invite Mr. Vivek to deliver his keynote address.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's my pleasure to be here, and yeah, good afternoon. And it's my pleasure to be here today and sharing my learnings from the ground when it comes to building enterprises which are rooted into rural economies and which can contribute to the local rural development of our region. So, so today, also I want to clarify that I am not an expert in honey, but I can bring a lot of experience from the livelihood domain and from the market perspective. If there are any entrepreneurs who are working on promoting and taking their honey to the market. So basically, when we are selling honey, what do we think like, what are the key factors which can make us stand apart from all the other brands and bottles or different jars which are there in the shelf? So my insight from the market is that if honey is only about the sweetness, then the price is one of the biggest differentiator between us and all the other brands which are selling honey. And if our differentiator is mainly like trust, from where trust for the brand, the place from where we are getting it, the story associated with all the beekeepers and the enterprises, then it is the value which is between us and the other brands, and the more value can be generated in terms of like making our brand premium and stand out from the crowd. And when any customer is picking up your jar of any product, no matter whether it is honey or anything, and if there is no story associated to it, just a fancy bottle, then maybe we might lose the war from all the big brands which are already like dominating the market with a huge network of shelves and bigger marketing budgets. And the first, like if we talk about the market, then the first battle is not in the market, it is in the consumer's mind. And specifically for honey, we have stereotyped it. For example, बचपन से हम लोगों ने देखा है कि घर में अगर cold हो गया, cough हो गया, then only we are getting honey. Recently, a lot of health influencers have started saying कि honey is good, it can be like a very good replacement for sugar. So हमारे दिमाग में honey is not a daily commodity. It's a health product, or you can say like it is something which cannot be consumed daily. There is a specific time, season, and condition to use honey. So firstly, we need to change that narrative so that people start perceiving honey as a daily product, not as something which can be used only on special occasions. Second is like pure is very overused. आप मार्केट में कोई भी बॉटल उठाइए उसके ऊपर 100% प्योर लिखा मिलेगा. Everyone is saying pure, but we all know the reality deep down how pure that is. And then price becomes the shortcut. Now, like Dabur is there, Baidyanath is there, a lot of different new startups are coming. Now, everyone is fighting for price. No one is actually fighting for the value. No one is fighting for the authenticity. Like, how do we bring the more, you can say, like traceability into the market? Everyone is fighting for the price, and when we fight for the price, the quality goes down, and we get into that trap. We are not able to get the expected, or you can say like the best value of our products for the honey keepers or the communities with whom we are working. And then fear of adulteration. A lot of consumers, after like a lot of recent reports where in Bangalore itself, like we had around more than 20-30 ton of adulterated honey which was caught. Then in Delhi and in DMart, the recent incidents. So a lot of consumers are really worried about whether the product or the honey that we are buying, is it really natural or the pure? Does it contain any sugar, or like what is the assurity that whatever product I am buying, it is pure or not? So these kind of factors are actually like impacting a lot on the overall sector in India. Then if we talk about honey, so India is a really serious market for honey. So last year itself, we had exported around more than like 100,000 metric tons of honey to like global markets. We are almost second in terms of like honey export. Then the revenue, if we see, then it is more than like 200 million US dollars. And then overall like 500 crore का यहाँ पर हमारे पास में like fund है to support the scientific research in this sector. But if we talk about like Himalayan region or maybe like Ladakh, then India might have this big market because we can have that sort of production available there in Uttarakhand, in Maharashtra, Gujarat and Bangalore. But in Ladakh, we cannot have that. So if Ladakh tries to compete in terms of that volume, in terms of that big market, then I feel that we won't be able to do that justice, because again, the market is very competitive and it's all about price wars. In Ladakh, we have the advantage of limited production, we have the advantage of purity, we have the advantage of altitude, the flora and fauna, which is very different. So that has to be the key differentiator for honey, which is coming out from Ladakh. Then in terms of competitor, if we say, then there are multiple. The four major types are like mass brands, just like Dabur, Baidyanath, Nestle, and a lot of different brands which are coming into the market. Then we have informal sellers. I mean, those local beekeepers, or you can say like those who collect the bees directly from forest and all. So they are selling it without having any label. Then we have sugar and wellness substitute brands, which are positioning honey as a substitute to sugar. And then we have the local small, you can say like brands, which are selling adulterated honey. And in between this, we have this opportunity for local honey enterprise, which is deep rooted into the community, and then which is making honey more pure, traceable, and it is selling it with a story. So if we look at the opportunity for the sector, then firstly we have the raw honey. A lot of people are doing good. They are doing it as a hobby, or a lot of village SSG members, they are having like honey clusters. They are selling pure honey, but it is unlabeled, mostly sold in plastic jars, and it has no story associated to it. So the price that they get for that honey is very low. It is like you'll find it cheaper than the unbranded honeys also, which are readily available in the market. Then we have the packaged honey. I mean, those who are putting a normal label, they might not have any compliance. They are slightly better than those who doesn't even have that. Then we have the origin honey. So origin honey is like there are new conscious brands which have started who are putting the story. Okay, this honey has been originated in Uttarakhand using eucalyptus, what you say, in forest. So those kind of honey definitely comes with a branding, much better positioning, and it can generate a much better revenue than the other two things. Then we have the experience honey clusters, where you go to a cluster, you experience the orchard, you experience the local honey which is getting produced there. So that is a premium luxury experience where you get at least 10 times extra than the even origin and the branded honey. And then we have the trust brand. So once we are able to reach origin and experience honey, then you and your customer likes the flavor and the story, then we will have the repeat consumers, which will have enterprises to grow. Until and unless we are not able to build that trust, until and unless we are not able to associate that story and the value and the reason to that honey, we might not expect that enterprises will grow at a pace which are expected to like bring revolution in the sector, especially when we are talking about the rural enterprises. Then if we talk about Ladakh, then Ladakh does not have advantage of getting abundance, but we have advantage of altitude. I mean, we are at a really high altitude, and we have a lot of antioxidant rich herbs like seabuckthorn. We have alfalfa, we have barley, and a lot of different you can say like highly medicinal value के साथ में जो herbs हैं वो है हमारे पास में. So that is something that we can vouch for, or you can say like that is something जिसके लिए हम लोग premium भी charge कर सकते हैं. Then short season, we have a very short season for bees यहाँ पे, so which makes ki whatever honey is getting collected or I mean produced here, it is in very small batches. So a small batch automatically creates that urgency and that value for the product. Then we have the tourism flow. We have almost like 5 to 7 lakh natural market in front of us. All these tourists who are coming here, they are looking for different raw local experiences. So if we can integrate tourism and the honey clusters, so it can naturally develop a new market for us. Then we have orchard linkage. So we have a lot of apricot orchards, we have seabuckthorn and all. So if we can link these orchards, or you can say like backyard garden जो हमारे लद्दाख में हर किसी के घर में होता है, with a small beekeeping box, so that can also create a lot of added value for the rural entrepreneurs and rural women. And then cultural knowledge. So all the traditional knowledge which like the conferences like these are bringing into the sector. So if we can incorporate all that, so we can position Ladakh as a really premium destination for honey, and something which is very different from the rest of the country. And so one more thing, like when any tourist comes to a place, they take any product and then maybe in 6 months or 8 months, they generally forget it. But when we actually integrate into the tourism economy, when they go to that cluster, they meet the beekeeper, they see all these, what we say, bee boxes there, and when they experience it at the origin, so that story remains with them for the rest of their life. And that is why, like, that is how we can create trust and long-term business from that particular, what we say, segment. And it will automatically help us like reaching more than 10, you can say like 10 times of more customers, because once they go back, they will definitely say that these brands or these, you can say like the honey which is there, so it is more authentic because they have first-hand experienced it. Then in terms of like if we look at this sector as the enterprise, then individual, like if we are thinking like from the point of view of individuals, then it might not survive. We need to have clusters developed, especially for these things. And honey is not something which can only support one family. So if you see, like we have multiple opportunities for multiple type of stakeholders within the rural ecosystem. So in terms of farms and orchard, we can have the bee boxes there, and some entrepreneur can manage the linkages for that. In terms of like women collective, so women can be utilized to collect the honey which is getting produced there. And in terms of youth and entrepreneurs, they can actually use digital platforms and sales channels to promote that local honey. And they can also create the local experiences within their villages, and for that they can also charge. Then we have testing and quality के लिए like we might need a different kind of expertise and different kind of people would be required. And then beekeepers, like who are providing bees, you can say as a service, or who are managing the bees ka import, and like when the season is not there, they can take the bees back to their originated place. And then in terms of Ladakhi entrepreneurs, like if someone is thinking about starting something in honey, then they have to first build the trust infrastructure. I mean, the authenticity of honey, how we can make it visible to the consumer. And then we have to design a repeat use. So honey is not just about teas and all. A lot of different products can be crafted out of honey. So we have to also design like those kind of, you can say, like recipes, and we have to like make people more aware about the use of all these recipes. And then thirdly, we can create direct experience like farm experience and orchard experiences where people can come and directly like taste raw local honey. And in terms of like if we are looking at the premium honey category, it will fail if we don't what we say consider all these factors. So firstly, like there is a lot of adulteration and what we say fake origin narratives which are already there in the market. So we can simply like we can tackle that by giving them some QR through which they can actually trace from where this particular product is coming, who has packed it, and those local stories we can assign to them. Then over branding without actually like having the quality. So a lot of time we have seen that there are brands, I mean recent startups which are there, they are charging a lot, but their quality is not consistent. So we have to ensure that whatever batch we are creating, it is properly quality tested, and there is consistency in terms of the product flavor, what we say, quantity, and all the moisture, water, and everything. And then over harvesting. So basically, yesterday also, like sir, I think sir was mentioning about the mental health of bees. So we have to also like keep that thing in mind, because that also impacts a lot on the production of like the quality of honey that we produce. And then like most of the brands do not think in the long term. Like for example, today I have sold one product, then how do I ensure that tomorrow again that person is buying from me? So that will happen when we create more repeat cases for our product, and we make the purchase in a very smoother experience, maybe through website or WhatsApp or whatever is feasible, or through e-commerce. And then the supply cannot be fragmented. So again, like coming back to the cluster model, where you have a cluster and you have a consistent supply, even though it is like for a short duration of time, but we have to ensure that the supply is not fragmented and it is properly coming in during the season. So like for anyone who is building the any brand or any kind of enterprise in honey, so we have to mainly answer these 5 questions, which is like, what is the proof that we can give as a brand other than saying just the word pure honey? Then what makes my honey bottle or my honey different for the consumer if he is having my bottle in his hand for first 10 seconds? So what is that differentiator that I can create in terms of my branding and packaging? Then who else can earn from my honey enterprise? As we mentioned, like there are multiple stakeholders who can be involved in that entire process. So we have to also map out all the local stakeholders within the village economy. And then can a tourist experience our honey before buying it? So we can have like a small tasting samples, or we can create these kind of experiences where they come to our orchard and they taste it. And then are we building a brand or just filling the bottles? Because a lot of times we just sell the bottles and we don't think about the long-term brand experience, or you can say like brand trust. So these all questions we have to answer, and I'm pretty sure like if we have answers for all these, and if we keep these questions in the back of our mind while building this, so it will definitely succeed. So yeah, thank you very much. Any questions?
Kindly ask questions if any. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Sure, sir.
NAFED database, as of now in India, highly specialized 100 FPOs are there for honey. The government target is to increase up to 10,000. So you have mentioned at one point local small enterprises for the honey is required. In such cases, how do we make a link among all these registered FPOs? So then only it will be helpful to the farmers to meet the local market, the domestic market, and in future international market?
So, in my opinion, sir, the thing that I mentioned about the traceability, so that can be done through a unified portal that can be designed through the apiculture, like if there is any department or ministry, where we list down all these FPOs, their you can say like all the SSGs which are working under them, and if we can give a traceability QR sort of a thing, so that the consumer knows from which cluster it is coming, and if there is any trace of adulteration, any kind of quality issue, then there we can have the you can say like grievance redressal system. So it will ensure that the quality is also there, all the clusters are also having the visibility, and then everyone is like linked together. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our next keynote speaker is Ms. Anuja Gupta from Ladakh Orchards, Ladakh. Ms. Anuja is a visual artist, educator, and agripreneur based in Ladakh. She is the co-founder of Ladakh Orchards, a social enterprise promoting traditional farming, apricot cultivation, and sustainable agriculture in Ladakh, with a vision of restoring Ladakhi agriculture to its former glory by campaigning traditional agricultural practices, thus elevating Ladakh as an exemplar of sustainable organic farming. Her work focuses on ecology, climate change, and biodiversity of the Himalayan region through eco art and experimental photography. Her work reflects the integration of local knowledge, sustainable practices, and entrepreneurship rooted in Himalayan context. Ma'am will be speaking on pollination prosperity, epitourism in Western Ladakh. May I request Ms. Anuja to kindly deliver her keynote address.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Julie, to everybody, Chairperson Sir, esteemed delegates, researchers, old friends and new. I'm Anuja, co-founder of Ladakh Orchards. Thank you for having me here, especially to Dr. Subrat Sharma and Dr. Jyoti Falswal for inviting me. So I have been, my presentation can be on. So I've been supremely privileged to have been working in Ladakh for almost a decade now in different capacities. A lot of you may already know that Ladakh offers different specialties in 4 different directions. So in the eastern part, you have the Pashmina. In the south, you have the dairy. In the north, in Nubra, you have flowers. And in the west, which includes the Sham and Arin valleys, that is often celebrated as the premium agricultural and horticultural belt of the region. And that's where I found my purpose. And my co-founder of Ladakh Orchards belongs to the Sham Valley. So when the world looks at the trans-Himalayan landscape, people often see a very dramatic moonland kind of a patch. But to those of us who've looked closely, especially in Western Ladakh, we read this landscape as one that is complex and one that also offers a very unique kind of abundance that's been kept alive by centuries-old traditions and what we can now call often overlooked biological partnership. So today I'll share a bit about moving past the global commodity obsession of viewing honey as simply a liquid in a jar, as well as tourism that is mere passive sightseeing and entertainment. I'll first walk you through a bit of our work at Ladakh Orchards, please bear with me, and then I'll present a potential plan that we are charting out to transform our orchards from simple fields into regional bio-incubators and sanctuaries for multi-species apitourism. So our journey at Ladakh Orchards first started in 2017 with the apricot. So fun fact, Ladakh is India's biggest apricot producer, yielding nearly 16,000 tons of fruit annually. And as I said earlier, there are age-old traditions attuned to the land that have sustained generations and keeping the fruit alive till date. But yet, an estimated 50% of this annual production is lost to market loss, processing bottlenecks, and underutilized local capacities. So there really is a problem of plenty at the moment. And that brings us to the core structural tension that we face in the region. When one thinks of Ladakh, a beige-brown landscape comes to mind. and agriculture and horticulture don't really come in the same breath as Ladakh. This leads to a growing disconnect in our ability to view agriculture as a viable, sustainable occupation. Despite the local incredible resources, we are witnessing rapid cultural erosion, environmental degradation, and a generation looking away from soil. So we finally found a solution to this and established Ladakh Orchards in 2023, not merely as a commercial fruit business, but as a dedicated social enterprise designed to champion indigenous agricultural practices, heritage crops, and honor smallholder farming families of Western Ladakh. To achieve this, our operations run through two interconnected streams. First, we link Ladakh's premium whole foods and minimally processed products to national and global markets. So think sun-dried apricots, to see buckthorn powder, buckwheat, barley flour, etc. And second, we run an intensive agri travel and learning arm where we curate immersive educational experiences that transform the tourist from a simple resource consumer into an active learner of high altitude ecology. So our USP really is in treating agriculture as a solution multiplier. In mainstream agriculture, industrial agriculture, the goal is linear. You extract the product from the land, sell it to an outside market, and leave the local community vulnerable to price availability, climate shocks, etc. At Ladakh Orchards, we are endeavoring to break this linear model. We operate a holistic closed loop system where product, biodiversity, tourism, and livelihoods are biologically and economically dependent on one another. So capital flows directly back into local livelihoods. Currently, we have a product line of 14 agri-products of Ladakh, including GI-tagged varieties. We have our own website, we are listed on aggregators, we also have some offline presence. But today I'll dive into the practice line. So over the past 3 years, we've been curating immersive experiences in the Sham Valley, which are as per what we call the unique agricultural clock of Ladakh. In this tight 6-month period, fields come to life, reward us with their bounty, and then prepare for the harsh winter. So our experiences, which range from guided day tours to short stays to intensive long-term stays, are all attuned to this agricultural clock. So our journeys range from what we call the Apricot Blossom Trail, the Apricot Retreat, the Sham Valley Trail, etc. We bring travelers into the heart of Western Ladakh to witness ancestral agricultural rhythms firsthand. We've been very fortunate to have received recognition within our first couple of years of operation across platforms such as the Indigo 6C Travel Magazine, Condé Nast Traveler, etc. And I feel equal parts proud and emotional to share that we actively work with 40 plus farming families across the 200-kilometer belt of Western Ladakh. And these families strive to follow traditional practices against all odds and pressures of modernization. These traditions run on principles of decentralization, reverence of nature, and resource sharing, and are now also being revisited as possible survival kits against unpredictable weather. So at this moment, Ladakhi agriculture faces its most urgent reckoning as per our reading. Our small-scale farming families don't just practice these traditions out of nostalgia, but also out of pride in honoring these traditions and learning from ancient wisdom and integrating it into climate literacy and responsible tourism practices. Now, in all of this, we have the bunga, the bee. Now, beekeeping is not a traditional Ladakhi occupation. But let's make no mistake, because bees have always been the silent farmers of Ladakh. There's a vital distinction between the human management of beehives and hotels and the actual biological reality of the bee. Now, for centuries, while humans did all the physical labor of agriculture, wild native honeybees and bumblebees quietly inhabited the deep cracks of traditional Ladakhi homes. They braved cold mornings to secure an extraordinary fruit set of heritage varieties like the Halman and Raksakarpa apricots. So they really are, as per our reading, the overlooked guardians of our genetic heritage. They've never required human management, they've simply required human respect. As we've been discussing yesterday and earlier today as well, that Western Ladakh follows what one could call a 6-month flowering calendar, and it also offers what we call a natural apiary. So this starts around April with apricots, followed by apples, buckwheat, alfalfa, wild native flora, sea buckthorn, etc. And at Ladakh Orchards, we are working on treating this as a launch pad for AP tourism. But truly impactful AP tourism cannot just be about the honeybees we manage in boxes. It must champion the wild, unmanaged pollinators that serve as our frontline shield, also against a changing climate. So our plan is designed in solidarity with farming families. Here, I would also extend an invitation to all of you to visit our orchards, because while the ways forward that we've been discussing so far sound great, on the ground, farmers do harbor valid anxieties, and there needs to be a fundamental perception shift about bees. We've tried to structure our plans to alleviate these apprehensions regarding honeybees, fear around bee aggressions, and coexistence with local cattle, among others. So this is what we've implemented as our plan to go ahead. So first we look into experiences around bees under our practice line at Ladakh Orchards. So we are trying to reimagine visitor journeys by inculcating multi-species observation and conservation. So instead of imposing foreign industrial apiaries onto their land, a farmer's land, we collaborate with families to enhance what is already natively theirs. So we wish to begin with inculcating sensory walks into our farmer-led orchard and farm experiences, along with tracking pollinators to understand the role of bees in the health of the land and eventually its yield. We're also looking into building apothecary pods of the traditional Tibetan healing system, the Sowa Rigpa, where honey plays a vital role with the help of an Amchi network. Secondly, we're looking at knowledge sharing and synergies aimed at long-term scaling, transforming the existing fields of Ladakh orchards into bioincubators. So our endeavor really is to unite visitor observations and citizen science initiatives with field research into an academic pipeline. We hope to gradually introduce beehives and hotels into fields, bringing the farmer and the bee closer. Finally, what will lock this system into place and check together at our work at Ladakh Orchards is product and practice integration. So sharing our physical infrastructure for beekeeping initiatives and other micro-entrepreneurs, we hope to build highly localized value chains which retain the returns within the farms and the orchards. So some figures from the field. The hard global data that proves the massive market viability of this approach is pretty insane. The global agritourism market has been scaling up and continues to grow at an accelerating pace. More importantly, within India, the agritourism sector is expanding at an extraordinary rate, making it one of the fastest growing niches in the entire domestic tourism landscape. Now, this hypergrowth is driven by a profound generational behavior shift, which we've also been witnessing at our own experiences at Ladakh Orchards. So reports reveal that over 75% of global travelers explicitly want to travel more sustainably now, especially post-COVID. And 43% are willing to pay a premium for certified, low-impact, community-supporting travel experiences. Now, this market is majorly led by millennials and Gen Z travelers who are fleeing fast-paced urban environments to reconnect with nature, explore ancestral food traditions, and engage in educational hands-on journeys. Some more. There's now also another metric that I'd like to share, which is called leakage in tourism. In standard mass market tourism, especially in developing regions such as ours, for every $100 spent by a traveler, up to 80% of that revenue leaks completely out of the host destination. This usually flows into hotel chains, transport, tour operations, etc., leaving a mere fraction to cover the costs of the host community. Now, decentralized agritourism acts as a shield against this extraction. In community-focused agricultural travel, 70 to 85% of all visitors spend on site is retained directly within the local economy. At Ladakh Orchards, for example, we experience this already. For every 100 rupees a traveler spends with us, 70 to 75 rupees circulates directly within the local ecosystem through direct partnerships with farmer families. This creates a powerful financial buffer, directly increasing traditional smallholder household incomes. So this kind of economic retention aligns perfectly with the mandates of our region. The official UT Ladakh tourism policy in 2022 explicitly champions the principle of high value, low impact tourism. So the governance here has actively prioritized a transition towards regulated, high spending, decentralized growth. Now, while footfalls have dropped lately after COVID, especially due to environmental and defense reasons, tourist traffic in general is notably shifting out of over-congested zones into eco-fragile agricultural valleys such as those in the Sham and Aran regions. So this is truly our time. Lastly, I would like to close with a quote that deeply drives our purpose at Ladakh Orchards, which is not the Einstein quote we've been repeatedly hearing. So the Buddha's teachings say, just as a bee without hurting the flower, its color or scent, gathers its nectar and escapes, so should the sage roam in the village. We hope to slowly unveil the constellation of possibilities in ethical, decentralized ecotourism with your support. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. If there are any questions, kindly ask. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Anuja, for your insightful presentation and for sharing your experience with us. Hopefully, this experience would lead every one of us to think in a direction focusing on improving what we have been gifted with naturally. May I now request Dr. Giridhar Pravatam to give concluding remarks. So, please.
Yeah, very good presentations by both the speakers. At the first instance, Mr. Vivek has given his keynote address on the Beyond the Bottle, the commodity thinking to enterprises thinking, how important it is with reference to the honey he has explained, and also how the trust and the place of collection and the sourcing, digitalization, all these, how important are these things for giving a good market to the farmers based on the trust, not just based on the sweetness he has explained. And the consumers' awareness on the quality of honey is also how important it is, how to give awareness to the farmers, consumers that he has mentioned, and the necessity of Ladakh's legacy of native honey. That is also he emphasized. That is very, very important, and hope soon the GI tag will come to this Ladakh honey. So lastly, based on his experience with the farmers here, the Pancha Sutras he has proposed, maybe such things are highly maybe helpful to the FPOs and farmers to give more visibility to the Ladakh honey. The second speaker, Ms. Anuja, has given a very pictorial feast to the eyes with the nature bounty photographs. Very nice presentation. And her talk is on the Western Ladakh region, apitourism, and also the pollinating prosperity. Surprised to know that despite all these efforts, still 50% post-harvest loss is there for the apricot. Yeah, this is the area definitely needs to be tapped. Then the farmers will get more empowerment. And explained about the 40 plus farmers families role in what is called in improving the apricot based cultivation, harvesting, and also tourism, their role. Not only these farmers but also the silent farmers role also she explained as a pictorial thing. And certainly the apitourism integration is very vital for this nature bounty region, and how much ethically is honeybee in its behavior just by sucking the honey without disturbing the plant. With a message she has concluded her talk. Fantastic, and both the speakers have given a different tone to this honey conclave. Congratulations to both of them. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request our chairperson, Dr. Giridhar Parvatam, to kindly felicitate our keynote speakers, Mr. Vivek Saxena and Ms. Anuja Gupta, with traditional Kathak and Pepur. Before we conclude, I would like to sincerely thank our respected chairperson, Dr. Giridhar Parvatam, keynote speakers, and all participants for contributing to such meaningful discussions. I hope the ideas exchanged here will inspire further collaboration, research, and community engagement. Thank you everyone for your active participation. The next technical session will be moderated by Dr. Shabir. So kindly take over the stage. Thank you everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, on behalf of the organizing committee, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome all the distinguished dignitaries, respected chairperson, keynote speakers, and esteemed oral presenters and participants to the online technical session second of this prestigious academic event. We are delighted to have our keynote speakers and oral presenters joining us virtually from their respective institutions across different regions and countries. I am Dr. Mohammed Shabir, serving as the moderator for today's session. It is indeed an honor to moderate this intellectually enriching technical session. So the reporter for this technical session are Mr. Nong Sharap, Ms. Sonam Angmo, and Ms. Thiring Dolma. So today's session covers highly relevant interdisciplinary themes including nutrition, health science, technology and entrepreneurship, alongside sustainability, climate action, cultural heritage, traditional knowledge, and ecotourism. So these themes are of immense significance in today's world where science, sustainability, innovation, and traditional wisdom must go hand in hand for societal development. I'm confident that today's deliberation will foster meaningful academic discussion, inspire collaborative ideas, and contribute to advancing knowledge across multiple disciplines. So it's my great honor to introduce the distinguished chairperson of this session, Dr. Giridhar Parvatam from CSIR CFTRI, Bengaluru, Karnataka. As his detailed introduction has already been presented in the previous technical session by Ms. Sakifa, we warmly welcome and acknowledge his gracious presence for guiding today's deliberation. It is now my privilege to introduce our first keynote speaker, Professor George Omar Caceres Gini, who is joining us online from Complutense University of Madrid, Spain. Professor George Omar is Director of Research, Faculty of Chemical Science, and an eminent academician and researcher associated with one of the Europe's oldest and most prestigious institution, the Complutense University of Madrid, Spain. His scholarly contribution, scientific leadership, and international academic experience have significantly contributed to advance research and scientific understanding in his respective field. We are truly privileged to have an internationally acclaimed scholar among us today. Professor, we extend our very warm welcome to you, and sincerely thank you for accepting our invitation. Now, without taking much of the time, I am humbly invite Professor George Omar Caceres Gini to deliver his keynote address. The virtual platform is all yours, sir. I request technical persons to share Professor's presentation. Professor Omar, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Sir, we'll be sharing a presentation in a short while.
Okay.
Okay, you are sharing from your end. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, you can see the presentation.
Okay, sir, the presentation is visible. You may start.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. First, I want to thank the organizing committee and also to you to be here. I am Jorge Cáceres, Professor of Computency University and Director of Laser Chemistry Research Group. And the title of my talk is Adulterated Honey, Fake or Real News. And I want to talk about how the reality is twisted and why we need to do something. Honey adulteration has become the major concern in food authenticity science and is now recognized as one of the more technical, sophisticated, and economical relevant forms of food fraud worldwide. Public and professional discourse frequently oscillate between alarmist media narrative and claims that the problem is exaggerated or even fictitious, generating uncertainty and obscures the underlying scientific evidence. Overall, the evidence demonstrates that the honey adulteration is neither anecdotal nor a broad media exaggeration, but rather a well-documented and evolving phenomenon. Addressing these challenges requires coordinated addresses in the analytical science, regulatory and policies, and market transparency to safeguard the authenticity and honey and consumer trust. So, were times when we threw the problem so big that there was no future for beekeeping. So whenever I talk about the food adulteration, this imagine from the film Terminator comes to my mind. And its phrase resonates deeply behind film context. The future is not written, there is no destiny except the one we make. This message takes relevance when we analyze the ethical, health, and economical problems associated with the fraud in food products, specifically in honey. For years, consumers have been exposed to market where trust in what we buy is a fundamental pillar. Whenever this trust has been betrayed by fraudulent practices that are difficult to detect and have potential serious consequences for public health and produce economic problems for beekeepers. For more than 1 decade, I have been working in scientific research into honey adulteration, and my experience showed me that it's a real problem but has been systematically denied and minimized by economical and political interests. My first encounter with the fake news related to adulterated honey occurred in 2016 when I had been analyzing samples from some times and had found alarming levels of adulteration. At the National Conference of Beekeeping held in Spain, I asked a representative of the European Community directly what measures were being taken to prevent the adulteration. His response was disappointing. He claimed that the problem affected only 4% of honey and was a marginal phenomenon and did not have significance. Such a response reflects the dangerous tendency to underestimate structural problems. What appears to be a prudent institutional stance is sometimes, in fact, a serious omission that opens the door to massive fraud. In March of 2023, the European Commission Joint Research Center publishes the technical report that directly contradicts previous institutional claims. This report showed that 70% 74% of honey samples imported from China and 93% from Turkey, the two biggest producers worldwide, containing exogenous sugar. These sugars, which are not naturally present in the honey, are clearly indicator of adulteration. This report marked the turning point, placing the reliability of product market in the European Union at the center of the discussion. No long time was passed before another narrative appeared, the systematic denial of the results. Various lobbyist groups with strong commercial interests came out against the report. They claimed the results were invalid, that the analytical techniques used were not sufficiently validated, and the samples analyzed were not representative. One of the most frequently repeated arguments was that the report was signed by a single person who lacked the necessary scientific qualification. But this claim is, at the best, naive and dishonest. Civil servants responsible of this type of document are subject to rigorous protocols, and if they committed fraud, they will be guilty of criminal offense. Another common claim among these to downplay the problem is that the adulterated honey is not cost effective due to the logistical, technical, and personal costs involved. Nothing could be further from the truth. Companies that produce honey plants already have all necessary resources to manipulate the products, tanks, operating, mixing, and storage system. So all that they need is act fraudulently. A basic internet search is enough to confirm that syrups used to adulterate honey, such high fructose rice syrups, that is C3 syrup, which is very difficult to detect, are sold at prices as low as 0.5 euros per kilogram. From purely economic point of view, the business opportunity is obvious. One of the most illustrative ads show artificial honey syrup produced in Anhui, China. Its detailed parameters such as humidity, very good value, different type of flowers, different type of origin, and HMF with a very good value, and the production capacity is up to 50,000 tons per day. We are talking about a product manufactured on a large scale to replace the real honey. The most dangerous piece of fake news, in my opinion, is the claim that the intake of adulterated honey does not have health risks. This claim has been refuted via recent scientific studies. One of the most relevant is the Jafet Cárdenas Escudero et al., which conclude that the toxic effect of the liver derived from the intake of adulterated honey is similar to drink alcohol. While the intake of pure honey produces a protective effect similar that produced by drug used to treat this liver disease. Seeing this evidence, European Commission created the honey platform in 2024. And it is a scientific and technical commission made up 19 members from across Europe, including representatives of member states, scientists, experts from various disciplines, and members of civil society. I am honored to be one of the scientific experts who make this commission. The objectives of this platform are ambitious, but necessary. Improve the check of generated harmonization between member states of the European Union, improve the traceability of the system, improve the compositional criteria and quality parameters, and create a reference laboratory. And what do? We want to create a C3, C4, and CAM syrups detection method that using economic, rapid, easy to perform, and relevant, produce relevant solution, but not only on the academic point of view, but in the real world application. So our research group have developed a simple, inexpensive, and portable analytical method that allow to detect honey adulteration using infrared spectroscopy. With a single drop in honey, it is possible to obtain a spectrum that distinguishes between pure honey in black in this region and the syrup in red. And the single drop is put in this small hole that can be detect adulteration in only 3% of bile. So as we can see in this figure, we can measure different percents of adulteration easily, rapid, and economical methodology. This technique has scientifically validated and published in a specialist journal. This is the reference of these journals, and these advances allow us to then, in the future, with any food control center, can implement an effective protocol to detect honey fraud in real time. The conclusion is that we have to get all tools to work about the food adulteration, and we cannot look to another way. The science is used. So how and where we can report in fraudulent actions. Fortunately, in Europe, there are channels for taking action. Any European citizen can report suspicious or evidence of food fraud directly to European Anti-Fraud Office via the following links. Report can be made anonymously, and every little action counts in a flight to authenticity, health, and truth. In conclusion, the future depends on use. Honey adulteration is a global problem with lack of effective control. But as undetermined poster says, destiny is not written. We have the opportunity and the responsibility to change the rules of the game. Science is on our side. Only we need is to use this powerful tool. Finally, I would like to thank all members of the Laser Chemistry Research Group, especially Dr. Cárdenas, who has actively participated in this study, the Ministry of Science, Innovation and Universities, and the State Research Agency for the financial support for this research. And of course, to you for listening to me. Thank you very much. I am ready for your questions.
Thank you, Professor, for such an insightful and informative keynote address. The floor is now open for questions from the audience. I kindly request the audience to actively participate in asking questions. Okay, so there is no question. So thank you very much, Professor George Omar.
Thank you to you, and happy this day. Enjoy the opportunity to talk about honeybees.
Once again, thank you for your excellent presentation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So it was my pleasure to have Dr. Anita Rana, who was scheduled to join us online from UIBT Chandigarh University as our second keynote speaker for this technical session. However, due to unavoidable emergency circumstances, Dr. Anita Rana is unfortunately unable to join us and deliver her keynote presentation today. So we shall now move towards the oral presentation session, and we are pleased to have our respective presenters joining us online from their respective institutions, and we sincerely appreciate their virtual presentations and valuable scientific contributions. Now I would like to invite our first oral presenter, Prem Kumar Patel, PFA Institute of Research, Prayagraj, who is joining us online to deliver his presentation. Mr.
Okay,
Prem,
sir.
Mr. Prem Kumar, are you there?
जी जी
Okay, you may start.
सर जी आई एम ऑडिबल सर
Yeah, you are audible.
जी
Okay.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर ऑल आई एम प्रेम कुमार पटेल फ्रॉम PFA Institute of Research, Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. My topic is widespread impact of climate change on bee population and honey production in rural area of Prayagraj district. Introduction. As present climate change is having a massive negative impact on the bee population and honey production in the rural area of Prayagraj district. It is also having a tremendous impact on our biodiversity and the livelihood of farmers. Objective. Successful rearing of bee will tremendously encourage the livelihood of farmer in our rural area, because in rural area farmer have very little other action other than farming and animal husbandry. In such a situation, only beekeeping can add value to their business. Methodology. Beekeeping currently in additional means of livelihood for the farmer in our rural areas. Beekeeping is a very simple and convenient method for the farmer of our rural areas. It is always best to install bee boxes in garden and flower field and in shady open places, so that they do not face any hindrance in finding their food. May result. Due to climate change in the rural area of Prayagraj district, many types of flowers are withering and drying prematurely. These flowers serve as food for bees. Apart from this, whatever flowers are left, their nutritional elements have been lost due to climate change. Due to this, the bee becomes very weak, which is completely affecting the quality of honey product. In this way, the product of honey and the its quality also deteriorate significantly. Nowadays, fake honey is being sold at a very fast pace of various areas of our district, where there is the production of the real honey is delayed significant due to the climate change. Conclusion. Due to the encouraged heat at present, the reproductive capacity of bee has declined significant due to the climate change. The extreme temperatures are spoiling the environment of bee hives, due to which the development of their larvae in also getting harm pace. Due to climate change, bees wake up from their hibernation illness due to which they are facing service energy shortage and non-availability of the food due to the temperatures increase in temperature due to the climate change. And ability of bee to find flower and dry them is also being affected because of this they are increasingly failing to return to their live and find food. Many bee die permanently due to the exposure to bulb light and tube light around a bee. In the rural area of Prayagraj district, people are very cruel to bee while extracting honey from the hive. In this situation, mostly ignorant people set fire to the hive while extracting honey, due to which many bees get seriously burned in the fire on the spot. And most of the bee also die instantly. In this situation, most of the bee population suddenly disappears. In this has a very negative impact on the bee population. We should identify the people who are cruel to bee and take legal action, but only sir, against them. If the bee have built their hip naturally and that the increasing their growth rate. So in such in situation, we will have to take appropriate action against the concerned criminal under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 by the Forest Department and Wildlife Protection Department. If beekeeping is being done by the farmer and livestock farmer for self-employment, so in such a situation, we would take strict legal action against the concerned criminal under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, so that cruelty to bee can be controlled to the trade restriction and the population of bee can also encourage immediately. Thank to you, sir. Thank to you.
Thank you, Mr. Prem Kumar. Your research findings and insights are highly appreciated. Thank you very much. So we will take 2 questions from the audience due to time constraint. Any questions from the audience? Okay, we don't have any question. So now I will move to the next presenter. Now I would like to invite our next oral presenter, Dr. Sajjit Hamid, who is joining us online from Jamia Hamdard University, New Delhi, to kindly deliver this presentation. Dr. Sajjit Hamid, you may kindly begin your presentation.
So I hope my slides are visible.
Okay, your slide is visible.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
so with the permission of the chairperson, respected dignitaries from different areas, I, Dr. Sajjit Hamid, assistant professor in School of Law, Hamdard Institute of Legal Studies and Research, would like to present my presentation on protecting heritage honey, particularly with respect to IPR and traditional knowledge in beekeeping. So the first and foremost thing which we would like to discuss is that what is the traditional knowledge and how it's related with this traditional beekeeping. So the thing is, my dear friends, that basically it's related a term because only this IPR is basically to protect the innovative, ideas. So the important aspect here is about how we can protect our traditional knowledge with respect to this
Kindly zoom your
being processing
slide.
and other aspects. And the other important aspect is that how this traditional knowledge is correlated and how the IPR protection can be granted. So basically, traditional knowledge is something that is not one's individual proprietary. Okay, basically it is a collective or a community-based, aspect that is being coming from a long, generation, is transforming from one generation to another generation. And basically this traditional knowledge is not only concentrated to these collections of the honey, but it's related with the so many other aspects. So basically it is something that is embedded into these indigenous groups basically. So what are the important risks or factors that will basically create issue? So the important risks are that once these honeys are getting registered because of the PI or whatever it may be. So the important issue, sir, basically I am facing a problem in the full screen, so that's why I cannot. So there is a little bit technical issue. That's why I'm doing the presentation from another device. So basically, the important aspect is that because of its bioactive, features that is available in the honey, so now it's getting, more commercialized. Previously, it was only available at our dining table, but now it's not the matter. The other important aspect is the biopiracy concerns, and that is very important because nowadays adulteration is very common, and not only adulteration, even if the GI tags have been given to or a brand is already available, so very easily other peoples are making the adulteration and same products they are also producing with the same name, same tag, and so many other things. So in that way, it's basically a risk is there. So basically, with respect to the IPR, the important factor is that patents is not protecting it. Same is the case with the trade secrets and trademarks identifications, but it's only the geographical identifications through which this traditional knowledge can be protected. But with again this GI, there is an important issue, and that is that GI can be only granted to a specific products of a specific area, a specific region with a specific qualities. Okay, so there is issue with GI also. It cannot fully protect the traditional knowledge with respect to it. Okay. But already in India, there is a Act, GI Act of 1999. And the other thing is that whatever the other, related aspect is there with the traditional knowledge, so that is not getting protected under the GIs. So now I would like to discuss about certain notable cases that has been, come with respect to this protection of the, honeys. So one of the famous case is with respect to Manuka honey from the New Zealand, and the dispute was with Australia. So it's known for its purest, quality, which is gathered from Manuka flower that is very common in New Zealand. And because of this, biopiracy, so whatever the total productions of this Manuka honey was originally, so in markets it is available means 100 times more. So that's why what they did, that now they have changed complete design of it. And if you will purchase any sample of the Manuka honey, and if you will try to trace its origin through the barcode, the unique barcode that they have provided, so you will get each and every details with respect to its origin, its batch, and when it has been produced, whatever, all the details are there. Okay. So same is the case with the Oku white honey that is from Cameroon, that is also having a specific features. And if you're talking about the Indian honey, so Sundarban honey, recently it has been given the GI tag. No doubt a dispute is already going on with the Bangladesh, because Bangladesh claim is there that 60% of the Sundarban delta is with them. So Sundarban, this GI tag should be given to them. But it's with India right now. In the same manner, recently this Marthandam honey of the Tamil Nadu and Ramban Sulai honey, which was also, in Man Ki Baat, our Honorable Prime Minister has talked about this Ramban Sulai honey. So that has been given the GI tags. Okay. So basically, what are the important tools through which this traditional knowledge can be given of protection, and at the same point of time, the actual beneficiaries should be these, indigenous communities. So with respect to it, there is basically international covenant that is known as the Yoga Protocol. So basically, these protocols talks about the access, benefit sharing, prior informed consents, mutually agreed terms, and compliance monitoring. So whatever the organizations that are involved with respect to research, or they want to carry forward branding, whatever technological transfer and other things are, so they need to give the benefit to the local communities also. And with respect to it, basically certain things is required in order to develop a complete sui generis framework. So number one is the recognition of the community. Like we are talking about this Ladakh honey. Okay, so up to now we can say that whatever the discussions that is going on this August House is that till time Ladakh honey has not been granted GI tags. So proper steps should be taken, first of all, to recognize that complete people who are well known for, means they are aware of this traditional knowledge, and accordingly after removing all the barriers, it should be registered as a society and then given a recognition. So the moment it will be registered, so definitely certain safeguards will be there, and the benefit will be more benefit will be granted. So with respect to it, basically in India, there is a Biological Diversity Act, which is in consonance with this Yoga Protocol. And recently, this Biological Diversity Act 2002 has been amended drastically in 2023, incorporating this access benefit and other mutually agreed terms and other things are. So basically, this act talks about three types of framework. One is the National Biodiversity Authority, that is at the national level. So if a foreign company they want to do business with respect to our biological diversity, so they have to take the permission from there. And then the state diversity boards are there, and the local management committees are also there. And if there is a violation with respect to any of the provisions, so the punishment is also there. Now, what is the main concern? Though we are having the Biological Diversity Act, we are having the GI Act. So the main issue is with respect to weak monitoring policies and non-recognitions of the traditional knowledge. So the thing is, like, take the example of this Manuka honey. No doubt it was registered, but very easily available at all the platform with the same name. Okay. So now they are having a unique system of recognition. In the same manner, in India also, there is a national bee board. So they are having one specific website, and the name of the website is Madhu Mitra. Okay, so using that website, very easily the product can be traced back. Okay, so these are one of the important concerns with respect to this honey. Okay. So now the other important aspect is that this honey is not only related with something that can be, that will give money. Okay, it's something that is related with the rural livelihood and as well as the biodiversity that is existing in the specific area. Like take the example of the Sundarban, take the example of the Ramban. Or already about Kukwara, honey, the procedure is already going on. GI procedure is already going on. Okay, so ultimately the beneficiary will be the communities, the tribal people, the local community that is working since generations. Okay, so they will be the ultimate, beneficiaries of it. So finally, I will say that the thing is that the traditional knowledge must be, are treated as a living community resource and its needs of protections. Okay, and there should be a sui generis, mechanism so that once a GI tag has been granted, so very easily it can be traced back so that originality can remain there. There should not be any biopiracy of it. And finally, I would like to conclude that because today we are here, so I'm just moving a proposal that this August House may resolve to seek a GI in the name of Ladakh honey by removing all the technical barriers, whatever is coming. So thank you so much, the organizers, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, and the organizing team. Thank you. If there is any question, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Dr. Sajjit Hamid, for your excellent and informative presentation. So the floor is again open for few questions from the audience. If there is any question.
See, one question which is coming to my mind is that the regular brands, for example, Dabur or whatever, etc., they might be sourcing honey from different places. So, what about their um, conditions, or as you are saying, GI tag? So, what about them? Will they be able
So
to?
basically, madam, that is their trade secrets. They are not selling that honey in the name of a specific region. Like take the example of the Rasagolla of the West Bengal. So they are not selling that product in the name of Rasagolla of West Bengal. They are only selling in the name of Rasagolla. Getting? So in the same manner, whatever the honeys these different companies are producing, Hamdard is also there, Dabur is also there,
Yes.
Patanjali is also there, and other brands are also there. They are selling in their company's name, not in the name of a specific regions. Okay, so definitely they are having their protections. We cannot copy another product in the name of the Dabur honey like that one. Okay, here we are talking about honey of a specific region, which should be known by their specific qualities. Like in the case of Manuka honey, oak honey, white honey is there, Sundarban honey is there. So whatever the specific chemical composition properties are there, that will be helpful. Okay. So on the basis of that, we are claiming it.
But see, if you taste the Dabur honey or whatever marketed honey and the honey which you are getting, say, from Ladakh or any other local producer, there is a lot of difference in the taste. So, how will they account for that? They might be putting certain preservatives in that honey or something. So, how do
Definitely. So
what are the
that's
legal
why
aspects for
honey
that?
is a food product. It needs to be registered under FSSAI Act. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have to give a detail of it from where what are the compositions they are having, whatever the things they are adding in it. Okay. So in the same manner, when you will file the GI tagging application, so if you are developing for this Ladakh honey, so the thing is you have to give complete set of chemical compositions and the uniqueness which you are having and why you are claiming in the name of Ladakh or that regions. Okay, so definitely there will be a different taste, a different compositions. So in that way, that will be a unique one. Okay, and definitely the GI will be given in that sense.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more questions from the audience. So I think there is no questions. So thank you, Dr. Sajjit Hamid. Thank you once again. Now
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now I respectfully invite Dr. Jyoti Lakshmi Keshav, who is joining us online from Swami Shraddhanand College, Alipur, University of Delhi, for an oral presentation. Madam, kindly proceed with your presentation. Madam Jyoti Lakshmi Keshav, are you there? Okay, I think she's not online. So now I'll move to the next online presenter. That is the next presenter. I would invite Dr. Arnab Ghosh, who is joining us online from Rajiv Gandhi University, Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh, to kindly present his work. Sir, please, the platform is yours. Are you there? Okay. Dr. Arnab Keshav is not online. So next, I invite Mr. Atul Tripathi. Atul Tripathi, who is joining us from RML Awadh University, Azamgarh, UP, to kindly deliver his oral presentation. Sir, kindly proceed. Mr. Atul Tripathi.
Yeah, am I audible?
Okay, you are audible. You are audible. Kindly share your presentation.
Yeah, just give me a moment. Okay, which presentation is visible?
Yeah, it is visible now. Please begin.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Atul Tripathi. I am a life sciences student. So, the title of my paper is Adaptation Strategies for Extreme Environments, Youth Climate Diplomacy and Apiculture Resilience in High Altitude Himalayan Ecosystem. In simple words, how do we save the beach of Himalaya and how can young people lead that front? So in this presentation, we will look at these 6 topics one by one. So let me begin with the problems which actually we have in Ladakh. So my paper will talk more about Ladakh and Ladakh's honey and their honeybees. So the problem which I'm talking about in this slide, Ladakh sits at 3,500 meters above the sea level. Winters here fall to minus 30 degrees Celsius. The entire year's rain is less than 100 millimeters, drier than most deserts. And the time in which flowers blooms and bees can gather food. The entire growing season lasts only 60 to 90 days. In those few weeks, a bee must gather enough food to survive for the whole year. Climate change is now disturbing even such small and precious creatures. Glaciers melting. And here is something that many people do not know. The bees and the flowers are the falling out of sync. Bees come out of their winter sleep, but the flowers have not bloomed yet. The bees starve. Scientists call this a phenological mismatch. It is a direct result of climate disruption. The bees of Ladakh are not just honey makers. They are pollinators. They pollinate the apricots, the walnuts, the wild plants. Lose the bees, and you begin to lose the ecosystem itself. So Ladakh have these 2 types of honeybees. So these are really extraordinary honeybees. The first is Asian honeybee. Over hundreds of years, it develops the ability to survive in extreme cold. The second is Himalaya cliff bees, the largest honeybee in the world. It builds its nest on cliff faces at 4,000 meters. It is wild. It cannot be kept in a hive. And its honey has been proven by Indian scientists at CSIR CFTRI to have exceptional healing properties, rich in antioxidants with natural antimicrobial strength. Both species are under serious threat, and once they are gone forever. No amount of money, no amount of science can bring them back. So here I'm going to talk about some strategies which we should adopt. So we just do not have the problem, we also have solutions. So I'm going to talk about 4 strategies. The first one is smart technology in beekeeping. Small electronic sensors inside hives that can track temperature, the weight of honey, and even the sounds of the colony, all in real time on a phone. Satellite maps can show beekeepers where flowers are growing. Mobile apps with artificial intelligence can identify bee disease from a photograph. These tools already exist. We simply need to put them in our right hands. And second, the strategy is restoring the natural environment. This means planting sea buckthorn, a cold resistant native shrub that bees loves, and that one that also have enormous value as a health food. It means creating strips of flowering habitat across the valley so bees can travel and feed safely. It means building protected areas where wild bees can nest without disturbance. And I want to say something clearly here. No technology can save the bees if the flowers are gone. So restoring nature must comes first. It is the foundation of everything else. And the next two strategies are the third, which mentioned in that slide, learning from people who have lived there for generations, which we also referred as indigenous knowledge. So Ladakhi beekeepers carry knowledge that no university textbook has recorded. They know which plant flowering means the nectar is ready. They read the clouds and the wind to predict the coming storm. They watch their bees and know, hours before a cold front arrive, that it is time to protect the hive. This knowledge must be documented carefully and respectfully before it disappears. Young researchers can sit with elderly beekeepers and help record this wisdom in writing and in videos so it is never lost. And the fourth strategy is building a stronger economy around honey. Ladakhi honey can be certified as a unique, as a few fellow presenters also talk about some GI tags and all these things. So certified as a unique geographically protected product, like how dazzling tea, how basmati rice carry a special label. This certification brings higher prices from buyers around the world. Beyond raw honey, beekeepers can also earn from bee wax products, from visitors who come to see the hives, and from orchard owners who pays for bee pollination services. Multiple income streams means that one bad season does not destroy a whole family. So, moving to next slide, and which is the core part of my research paper. So now I have come to the part of this paper I care about most deeply, the role of young people. A global survey found that 70% of young people between the age of 16 and 25 say that they are extremely worried about climate change. 80% of countries that have updated their climate actions plans now formally mention youth engagement. These are not just nice statistics. They tell us that the world has recognized something important, and that is young people are not just the victims of climate change. They are a force that can fight it. India gives us the greatest reason for hope. We are home to over 254 million young people between the age of 15 to 24. This is the largest youth population of any country in the world. If we give these young people the right tools, the right training, and the right and genuine responsibility, the impact could be historic. India has already taken strong steps in this directions. The Y20 summit in 2023, held as part of India's G20 presidency, but put climate action at the center of global youth change. Government is also doing few very works regarding that, like Mission Life and My Bharat Eco Clubs. All this energy, this is commitment. We must now connect it directly to places like Ladakh, to these hives, to these bees, to these mountains. And as I told that India has that youth power, so I have these are some solutions for what actually youth can do. So the exactly can youth people do? my paper identifies the 6 type of things which they can play a role of these things. The first, be ambassador. Trained young volunteers in every Ladakhi village who regularly check the health of hives and send that information to the central network. They become the eyes and ears on the ground of science and policy. Two, seed bank stewards, students who collect and protect the seeds from native flowering plants, so that even if a plant disappears from the wild, it can always be regrown. This protects the food resource of bees for future generation. Third is the youth entrepreneurship. It's like as I told that my paper is more focused on Ladakh itself. So it says that young Ladakhis who take premium honey and build businesses around it, selling online, reaching customers in cities and abroad, creating green jobs that keep young people in their home communities rather than migrating away. As migration is the one of also great problem in mountain areas. Fourth is young people who learn both from their grandparents. The old ways, the seasonal science, the type instincts, and from the modern technology like the sensors, the apps, the satellite maps. They are the bridge that stops two kind of knowledge from being lost at the same time. The fifth is climate advocates, young people from Ladakhis who stand up in an international forum at the United Nations at a climate conferences and speak from lived experience. When a 20-year-old from Leh says, I have watched the glaciers behind my home shrink every single year of my life, the voice carries the weight that no reports can match. And the sixth, the last one, is the citizen scientists. It's like university students who go into field and record when flowers bloom, count bee populations, and gather climate data. They produce originally knowledge that government and science can use to make better decisions. These are not small symbolic roles. These six actions carried out by young people across Ladakh can genuinely change the future of apiculture here. Okay, so in the way to conclude, so we are not starting from zero. Other parts of world have already shown us what works. Uh, Here are a few examples on slide, which I'm not going to explain. It's like how other countries conserve the bee extincting bee populations, how they treat their honey, and how they do things. So based on all these examples and the global examples, the scientific things and the wise from Ladakh itself, my research offers 7 recommendations, which are mentioned on the slide, and in which the number 7 is especially important, not just a youth club, not just a symbolic gesture, a formal voice in governance, where young people from Leh and Kargil have a real seat at the table when environmental decisions are made by government. And let me close with 3 simple truths. Like first one, it's mentioned on this slide. The first, the native bees of Ladakh are not just insects; they are living proof that life can survive in the harshest condition on Earth. They carry in their bodies the result of thousands of years of adaptation. We must protect them. And the second is Ladakh is not just a beautiful place. It is front line of climate change. What happens to this ecosystem today tell us what will happen to the rest of the world tomorrow. We must invest in it. And the third is the young people of India and the world are not just the future. They are the present. They are already watching, they are worried, they are already waiting to act. Give them training, give them funding, give them genuine seat at the table. Ask them not only to speak, but to plant flowers, to monitor hives, to carry the message of retreating glaciers into every room where decisions are made. So here in slide that protect bees, empower the youth, and heal the highlands. So thank you so much. I am deeply grateful for the organizing committee and for the World Honey and Clay 2026 and University of Ladakh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Atul. Your contribution is sincerely appreciated. Now the floor is again open for questions, but due to limited time, we are only taking 2 questions from the audience.
Atul, can you tell me the reference which said that the honeybees which you have quoted, they are present in Ladakh? The honeybee species which you have mentioned are actually present in Ladakh.
Yeah, I can share the reference, but I have to see once for that. So I'm not that much remembering actually the reference, but it is mentioned in the research paper properly in detailed way.
Which paper? Did you work on any such project?
Yeah, from my university, I got to know about the things, and actually, I never been there. But from my research, my online research, from the papers which I read from books, I got to know about these 2 species which I mentioned in that paper.
I think none of the people who are here, who are working with honeybees, will agree with the species which you have mentioned in your presentation.
So more questions from the audience? So I think there is no more questions. So next we shall move to the online poster presentation. So we have there is only one poster presentation from Miss Julie Kumari from CCHAU Hisar, Haryana, and I invite her to kindly present her poster online. Ma'am, can you hear me? Okay, please proceed, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Please proceed.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, are you sharing?
Yes. Sir, is it visible?
No. It's not visible yet.
Sir, I don't know why it's not sharing.
You can send your presentation to the technical person. Huh? Okay. We have your presentation, ma'am. We have your presentation. We will share it from our end.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So is it visible to you, ma'am? Miss Julie?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. You may start.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Julie Kumari. I'm a first year student from first year entomology student from Chaudhry Charan Singh Haryana Agricultural University, Hisar, Haryana. So I'm here to give a poster presentation on the topic hidden pollinators, the ecological
Ma'am, sorry to
contribution
interrupt. Your voice is not clear. There is some problem. Your voice is not clear. Your audio is not clear.
Hello.
There's some. Okay, speak slowly. Speak slowly.
Okay. Shall I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So the topic for my poster presentation is Hidden Pollinators, the ecological contribution of crab-ronid wasp. Let's start with the objective. The objective of my presentation is to study the ecological role, that is predation and pollination done by crab-ronid wasp. So as we know, wasps are also important pollinators as honeybees. The pollination done by wasps is known as waspophily, and there are some plants. Okay.
Ma'am, please continue.
So, as we know, the wasp pollination is known as waspophily, and there are some plants like a fig. They are important. Wasps are important for their pollination. So, starting with like here, we can see a pie chart. Can you focus? Can you please zoom it on the this pie chart? Okay, I can do. So here we can see that pollination done by wasp. This pie chart. Actually, I'm not. Here it's one pie chart where it's shown that there are around 960 plant species which depend on wasp, but wasp visit but don't pollinate fully. But there are 164 plant species that totally depend on wasp for pollination. Moving on with my topic, that is crab-ronid wasp. They are small, medium-sized hymenopteran insects that vary in coloration, and they are an important pollinators as well as predators. Around 9,000 described species are there in this family in around 250 genera. So it is important to study this because this is very diverse group. So for this, we follow the methods and methodology that are like field observations will be taken in agricultural fields, grasslands, or any vegetations where we can find the flowering plants. Methods and methodology. Now, sampling techniques for this, like adult crab-ronid wasp would be observed in the peak flowering seasons. Like mostly this crab-ronid wasp hovers on the families like Umbelliferaceae, like onion, APC, carrot, and some of the Brassicaceae crops like mustard, and the observations would be taken in the field, like the flowers visiting, the visiting behavior, the foraging activity, the pollen collection by them, and the interaction with the flowering. This would be done by visual activity only in the field. And then after we can, first we should know like a specimen in the field is a crab-ronid wasp or not. So for that we have to go for identification. For identification, we will put some traps. Like some yellow pine traps are available. We'll put a soap solution in that, and then we will take the specimen and take it to the lab and identify under the microscope. There are some literatures like like catalog of specimens in which we can find the all the literatures related to crab-ronid wasp. And we will relate and identify the specimen. It is necessary to identify. Otherwise, how we can know that a specimen which we are observing is a crab-ronid wasp or not? Then, after identification, we will go on for field, like for observing their pollination activity, like how they are visiting, how many times the wasp are visiting the flower, and also like on what is the favorable time for it. We'll record everything and we'll move on to the results. Like results is that floral diversity and association with the crab-ronid wasp is done by like several species of crab-ronid wasp. As I have discussed earlier, there are around 250 species around the world. So we can get idea through identification that which species is there. And then after identification, we can also go to the peak visitation time, that is generally observed that it is around in the morning and in the early afternoon times. Then next, the plant-pollinator interaction will also study that the major host or the major plants which this wasp hover on are carrot, mustard, coriander. This is a very important pollinator in the spice ecosystem. Like it pollinates carrot, coriander, fennel, dill. These are important spices. So it's important to study. And also some of the wild plants, flowering plants like Tridex, procumbens, Agitum conozoids, etc., which are mentioned here. And the important thing is the ecological importance. This crab-rooted wasps are important pollinators, as I have discussed now only, that it pollinates different crops. They are also important in natural biological control, as these are sand wasps. They feed on small insects like aphids, um, these mole crickets, cicads, and hence provide a very important ecological role as a predator in the environment. They also contribute to biodiversity and food webs. Like they are, as they are predators, they have an important role in the food chain, food web also. They are an indicator species and the they are indicator species and habitat health. As we know, these wasps are highly sensitive to habitat. Like if there is a change in the landscape or there is a any disturbance, their population will suddenly decrease. So we can know if the population of this wasp is more, then we can say that habitat is good. And also
Miss
some of
Julie,
the
kindly
species.
conclude. Come to the conclusion, please. Kindly conclude.
Okay.
We don't have we are time constrained.
Okay. So from this we can conclude that the crab-red wasps are an important. They have a dual role. They contribute to pollination as well as predation. So it's important to study. They have diverse foraging activities in different crops, in different agricultural crops, as well as flowering crops and nearby natural vegetation. They pollinate. And also, my topic is hidden pollinators because they're not that much studied. Still, the research is going on around in this field. So I have chosen this research topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Julie, for your valuable presentation. We appreciate your effort and participation. So
Thank
it's
you,
now time for 2 questions from the audience. So is there any question? Okay, ma'am.
Yes, this should be. Are you talking about a specific crabronid, or is it a general overview which you are giving?
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
What I want to know is, are you talking about a specific crabronid, scientific name? Are you talking?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one?
Like crab-red wasp, crab-red is a family. This wasp has around.
I know all that. You just tell me, what you are presenting? The photographs which you have shown, are they of the same crabronid wasp or they are different? And if they are the same, what is the name, scientific name of that wasp?
This is Deciproctus and Ectimenis.
Deciproctus. So, what is the time of occurrence of this wasp?
Mainly, this wasp visit the flowers in morning, like around 8, 9 to 11, or early afternoon. You can say.
Time fine. I am asking you which month or which season are they present in the fields during?
No. In winters, majorly in winters, like early winters, we can find this crop.
Okay. So, what are the crops which are present at that time? Which has flowering for this wasp to pollinate?
Coriander, one of the major plant in which they hover. Fennel, dill. Up to January also, like the late January, the flowering is there. we can find this.
crops, okay, spice crops. But do the flower? Does the flowering is the flowering there early winter, or you are saying whatever season? Fenugreek, I don't think it will flower at that time.
Fenugreek is present.
So be very sure about what you are presenting. Okay.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, is there one more questions from audience side? Okay, I think we don't have any question. Thank you, Miss Julie, once again. So now we came to the end of this enriching technical session. It is now my privilege to invite our esteemed chairperson, Dr. Giridhar Parivattam, to kindly provide his concluding remark. Sir, we would be grateful to hear your concluding remark. The platform is yours, sir.
Thank you. In this technical online session 2, that is on nutrition, health science, technology, and entrepreneurship, one keynote address, 3 oral presentation, and the last one poster presentation are there. And Professor George Omar Calces Gianni from Complutense University of Madrid, his topic was on adulterated honey and also the gambling in the international trade dynamics. That is what he has highlighted in his presentation. Like yesterday, somebody was mentioning that 65% of Indian samples failed for FSA compliance. Similarly, here also the figure is more or less same. 74% of spurious honey samples, as per European agencies testing, proved that that is especially the samples from the China and Turkey are failing. So, and also the artificial honey syrup market, how it is penetrated to adulteration of the honey, he has mentioned. And most importantly, rather than the chemometric methods, chemometric less methods like infrared spectra. In fact, in the morning, I also presented what was CFTR with the Siri Jaipur that we have developed. That same thing, how easily you can use to identify the adulteration of the rice syrup in honey sample you have mentioned. Among the oral presentations, Dr. Prem Kumar Patel, he has mentioned about the climate change versus honeybees and his own experiences, how that there is a dwindling in the honeybee population and also the yield reduction of the honey and also the crop. He shared his experiences very genuinely. And Dr. Sajjit Hamid from Jamia Hamdard, he has given the protecting heritage honey, how it is important, and what is the role of IPR and traditional knowledge and biopiracy issues. Especially the GI tag, we are using a buzzword. GI tag adds a local flavor today and visibility of our local products, but it will not having any protection from the biopiracy. That is what he emphasized, and he requested this domain to give a policy push to empower GI also with some sort of protection from concern with the IP aspects. That is what his presentation is there. Next, Dr. Atul Tripathi from Awadh University. He has the saving high altitude apiculture in Himalayan regions. He has specified on the digital and precision apiculture importance. So another speaker in another technical session also has emphasized the source and digitalization right from the collection of the sample till to the consumers. He also mentioned the similar way he has shared his thing, and also he suggested to take advantages of demographic dividends, especially the youth population is very high in India. So we have to push or request the youth to or bring the youth into this apiculture, especially in the Ladakh region or high altitude Himalayan regions, so that the farmers will get benefit and startup ecosystems also will emerge. That is what he has expressed. And also he has given a key takeaways from the global models to adapt and successful implementation in the Himalayan regions he has emphasized. And lastly, Ms. Julie Kumari has given her poster presentation on hidden pollinators and ecological contribution of carotenoid wasps. So the wasp also having a dual role in doing the pollination. That is what we have heard just. So overall, the topics are quite unique and different, or rather the other technical sessions, what happened in the morning session and the yesterday. So in that way, I must appreciate the organizers in selecting the topics, in organizing in a different way without having much overlapping things. I also thank the rapporteur and moderator for helping this session making a successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable observation and encouraging remarks. So as we conclude the online technical session second, I take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed to making this session successful. First and foremost, I express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed chairperson, Dr. Giridhar Parvatam, for kindly chairing this session and sharing valuable guidance and insights. My heartfelt thanks to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor George Omar Casares Jenny, and for delivering enlightening keynote talks and sharing his valuable expertise. I also extend sincere appreciation to all our oral and poster presenters for sharing their important scientific findings and contributing meaningfully to today's session. Special thanks to our respected reporters, the organizing committee, the technical team, faculty members, participants, and attendees for their support, active engagement, and smooth coordination throughout the session. Your participation and contribution have truly made this session intellectually vibrant and successful. With this, we formally conclude the online technical session second. Thank you everyone for your gracious presence. Wishing you all a wonderful evening ahead. So the next session will be panel discussion with high tea, which will be moderated by the convener, Dr. Subrat Sharma. I invite Dr. Subrat Sharma sir to the dais for moderation. Thank you once again. Jai Hind, Jai Ladakh.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sukhalam Malayaj Shri.
Good evening. We are coming to the end of the sessions, and now we want to draw that what we have learned in last 2 days. So for that purpose, we have designed a panel discussion of few our participants, those representing diverse arena of honey ecosystems. I would like to call you and please come to the dais for this panel discussion. Mr. Apurva, Beehive Trust, Bangalore, please. Dr. Faizan Ahmed, Dean, School of Horticulture Sciences, Kargil. Mr. Vivek Fargun Institution, please. Mr. Sumit Sahani, who is working on the honey ICAS, please. Miss Anuja Das Gupta, she is an entrepreneur from Ladakh. And Miss Dr. Parvez Ahmed from IIT Delhi, please. Yeah.
Hello.
So, yeah, take it up. Okay, thank you. Sorry. So what I will do that we have learned in last 2 days with many presentations online, offline, and you have also your expertise. So I will put a question to you, and in a round manner, everyone will respond to that with a very short and crisp answer. And I expect our reporters please try to capture what the panelists are saying. So that is a basically distilled wisdom. I think it will generate. It will be. We will generate through this session. So my first question to you is that how do you see honey as a prospective in Ladakh? So I will start with you from the right side because all of them are from different expertise.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think because I come from a background which is mostly translational, so I will try to answer in the translation. I think honey has been and honey will be one of those things which will have a lot of commercial value and translational value as well. With respect to if you specifically ask me about Ladakh, I think there's a lot of potential, particularly in terms of looking specifically, because I was learning, I was hearing a couple of presentations from last 2 days, and what scientists are trying to do, they are using the flowering seasons in the Ladakh to capture that potential so that they can get a specific type of honey. What's kind of I was wondering is it possible that we can specifically tap specific ingredients of this honey? I believe that the quality of honey will definitely depend upon the kind of flowers they pollinate and the kind of nectar they actually take from these flowers. So I think if researchers, students, or scientists can look into a particular specific aspect, that if there are specific kind of flowering seasons which can be done here, and these can specifically capture their specific kind of nectar, which can have a medicinal value or which can have a commercial value or traditional value as well. So in the aspect, honey can be a very good commercial product.
Thank you. Now I will ask this same question with Dr. Faizan because he has introduced something, this kind of product in Kargil. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Subit. As I have worked on this aspect, so I am very hopeful, and I see the future of beekeepers in Ladakh, especially on different crops, because I have worked on 2 crops, basically alfalfa and buckwheat. But we have so many crops which flower during the period of April to late August. So we can explore the multiflora honey also, and especially in some medicinal plants also. But during these 6 to 7 years where I worked on this beekeeping especially, but we didn't face any disease or pest problem. So there is still a scope of gaining knowledge about beekeeping in Ladakh, especially as a scientist. I'm not, basically I'm a fruit scientist, so I don't have that much knowledge. So we need specialized people to work in this aspect. And, initially we don't get these type of problems when we venture into a new uh, enterprise like beekeeping. But when we move on and with in due course of time, the problems start coming. So there is still infancy of beekeeping in Ladakh, and future is really bright, but there is lot of work needs to be done in future also. Thank you.
Anuja, you were recently associated with EPIDA. They visited to your farms. And how do you see that this kind of, especially in the lower Ladakh region where we have a profuse flowering during apricots? So what kind of things you see that Ladakh has a prospects about that kind of honey?
I will speak more from the tourism perspective.
But
with
certainly,
this-
we can associate anything with the
Yeah.
honey as a centerpiece and
Yeah.
at the periphery with all the spheres.
Yeah, of course, we have our peer entrepreneurs who are also working on honey, but like we've learned over the past 2 days, it's going to take some time. But I feel we should utilize that time on the fields itself because bees have always been in Ladakh. It's only a matter of spotlighting them. And I feel AP tourism comes exactly there. During our blossom period and later in summer, I feel there's a huge scope in curating experiences around the bees that are already, chilling in the orchards and the farms. So there can be creative curation as well in terms of wellness retreats. There can be scientific expeditions as well. There can also be potential collaborations in terms of other kinds of geography similar to Ladakh. We're also in conversation with some potential partners in Europe about it. So I feel partners like APIDA can really become a launch pad for such initiatives.
Thank you. So how do you see Apurva from your very far distance learning experiences with the farmers communities working there? What kind of prospects you look in the Ladakh?
Sir, I think it is the less quantity harvest, but more value. For example, every time in all presentations, Manuka honey is referred. So if you take that, the government of New Zealand invested in science for a very long time, and then finally they got UMF, unique Manuka factor, and the methyl glycol concentration. So in the same way, you have very unique honey. And as a marketeer also, let me tell you, buckwheat honey and sea thorn, alfalfa. So these words are very exotic. For example, when I sell clover honey, it sells more for name. For name itself, people will not be tasting it. People will not be appreciating the nutritional value. They will never know that. And as a consumer, they will have to consume at least for a year to check what has changed in them. So there is a story here. So for sure, there is a value. And if the right kind of entrepreneurs are there, who will respect the society over here, community over here, and keep that right intent, the impact story at the right places, I think there is a big scope for sure.
So you are suggesting that there is a potential for niche product and a niche market. Experiences can be converted into Ladakh as a venture or as a social entrepreneurship or as a community-based activity.
So, sir, I feel that ki Ladakh and Uttarakhand, these two are very distinct geographies. I mean, the experiences that we have in Ladakh, in Uttarakhand might not work or will be suitable in Ladakh. So, for example, in Ladakh, if I say right now, it's the very beginning of this revolution, honey revolution that we are trying to bring. And if we try to compete with other brands, or you can say like other honey which is available all across India, then we might not be doing justice to the kind of quality and the exotic product or the exotic honey that we are getting from Ladakh. And also, given the production that we have very limited production, very limited time window. And if we calculate this, if we look at the value chain or the supply chain which is there, so the cost is also going to be really high, and making consumers aware about it, like how different it is. It will be really challenging for us to make them understand the real value of the honey which is coming here. So I would like, as an entrepreneur, my recommendation would be that initially, instead of maybe competing or maybe keeping our honey adjacent to like Uttarakhand or Bangalore or some other region, we should create niche experiences within Ladakh, tapping the tourism economy which is already there. So in that way, we'll be able to create more luxury, or you can say like more exotic experiences for the tourists. And through that, we can bring the initial, you can say, revenue, which will motivate more community members and more youth to get into this sector, looking at the economic potential. And once we have more youth and more production, then definitely we can create value chain which is beyond Ladakh. Because at this point, I think that given the limited quantity that we have, it has to be a very niche and luxury experience that they can experience here.
Thank you. So how do you see now this, after listening all these, then how these things can be converted into a prospect market in the honey?
Sir, I think there are many, I believe if you are at minuscule level, you have the whole world to capture. So in Ladakh, I don't know the exact values, how much honey they are producing per year. But I definitely know they are very specific, very less amount. There is one avenue which none of us have discussed about. That is, we can sell honey, Ladakh honey, in exports with a specific name of Ladakh. Another thing is, as we are discussing in last 2 days, that there is one is monofloral and other one is a polyfloral. Polyfloral is honey is better for the honeybees for their health, and monofloral is the specific kind of honey which is in demand by the retail public customers. That if you want to, you can sell like Seabuckthorn. It is only available in Ladakh throughout the India. So you can sell that Seabuckthorn as an export quality. And if some of the honey is left, you can combine it. It becomes a multifloral, and you can sell it in the domestic market. But again, you can have the tag of GI tag of Ladakh, even in the multifloral. In the polyfloral, in the monofloral, you can sell it as one GI tag as the what we say Seabuckthorn, alfalfa, buckwheat, which we have discussed, and the other one is as a Ladakh. So there is a huge prospects, and we should focus on the export thing also. And I think the university must have some trainings for the students as well as for the local people, how we can do the export, how we can create the export system, not only for the honey only, but for the other things as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let us move to the things that we have some prospects in Ladakh, but what kind of bottlenecks you see about developing this honey ecosystem, keeping in view the climate, keeping in view the floral synchrony, and market opportunities, whatever it is? What kind of bottlenecks you see?
Sir, with the discussions with the local people as well as from the past 2 days, I have pinpointed some bottlenecks. Like one bottleneck is lack of the skilled trained people. Second, you have only a fixed season that is of 6 months. Third, people are, outside the Ladakh, people are not well aware that Ladakh is also producing the honey. Because there is a perception, Ladakh is a cold desert, nothing is grown there. So these are the major pain points, and we can solve these pain points by few of the things, one which I have already discussed, and in one way that until unless we'll show, we were discussing with Vishalji, Vivekji, that we can send some, most of the people come to Ladakh through planes. We can give some samples of honey in that planes so that people, before coming to the Ladakh, they will have the glimpse of that what we have. And when they coming to the airport, they are going through the roads, they can see the banners or posters, they will search for that honey. And next pinpoint is of that fixed time duration, that is of 6 months. I don't know whether it is feasible or not, but when I saw, Ladakh is a flat area, it is in a valley, and huge flat areas are there, where we can create greenhouse things, and huge greenhouse, not smaller ones, huge greenhouse where we can grow the crops throughout the season. And within that greenhouse, we can have the bees. Thank you.
I think very well said, Sumit. I have a different opinion on bottlenecks. I always believe that sometimes certain things are blessing in disguise. When you have a clean slate, so you can write the story in the different context, in a context you want to write it. So sometimes it can become your strength as well, because you have a lot to explore and you have a lot to experiment. So, but definitely for that, I think you need to expand this ecosystem. It can't remain within the Ladakh only. You need people coming from different places, from the country, out of the country, experts, and also experts coming from different domains. I think from the specific field of bee culture, from industry people who understand the whole game of this honey, and it's how we choose the best quality of honey and how we can make it something successful in the market. I think that is something the university, and also in terms of the whole ecosystem in the Ladakh, where people are involved in that, I think they have to push these boundaries out of Ladakh and create awareness as well, definitely, among the people. For example, this is the first time I and many of the colleagues I discussed for a couple of days that this is something which is happening in Ladakh. People outside Ladakh, they are not aware of any kind of this happening, and this is very important. I think that exposure needs to be taken out of Ladakh. It needs to be reached to the people, to the exact people who are in this domain, so that these initial successes, they can be translated in something very big and something very beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Specifically, Dr. Faizan, how do you see that you have done some work with this? So what kind of bottleneck you see right now?
The major bottleneck which I feel in Kashmir, there is one apiculture officer in the Department of Agriculture. and that man totally deals with whatever farmers are doing at their own level, or the department activity, awareness camps, and production of honey in different sites at their different farms, giving training to farmers. That man is totally responsible for that. But any such position, I don't think it is available in Ladakh Agriculture Department. So there is a need to have a specialized officer which can work 24/7 on these aspects. One thing. And second thing, uh, in 7 years back, I started this venture for the first time it was at research farm level. And till now we don't have a single farmer who deals with honey beekeeping in Kargil. And there are some farmers who are doing, but they don't own the colonies. They are just facilitating the Kashmir farmers, and those farmers are bringing their colonies and putting in their fields and taking back the honey. So if any farmer, I think the major bottleneck is that farmers are not adopting this technology since they know about this, because they are dependent on the departments. Mostly in Ladakh, there is a problem. Every farmer is dependent on government agencies. So that is the major bottleneck, that it is not coming up at a very fast level. Thank you.
So quickly, Vivek, if you have something to add to this.
Sir, I would say I feel that we should have more entrepreneurs who are working on the ecosystem to build the relevant infrastructure. For example, in winters, the Ladakh region gets a bit very cold, and in that kind of temperature, managing the bees and ensuring their health is really important. So we need like more entrepreneurs who can manage the transportation of bees to a safer place when Ladakh is not ready to host the bees. So if we have more of these kind of entrepreneurs plus the right kind of awareness, then I think we can witness a really good growth in the sector.
Okay, Apurva, would you like to add to this anything from your understanding?
What I can say is that there will not be much of the problem for selling it, because to reach Ladakh, people should have money. And the people who are coming here, they are fond of collecting souvenirs, and honey can be a souvenir also. But if we have to expand, then we will have to think of carbon footprints and burning carbon miles, and that is one thing, supply chain and sending honey outside from here. So someone else will take away the margins in the business for sure. The ground reality, like doctor said, the technical people will have to be there on the ground to help them. It can be department, it can be university, or it can be beekeepers also. So with this collaboration, I think the grassroots, the level of grassroots, we have to touch and develop that particular aspect. Then we can see the results for sure.
So my specific question to both of you, those who are working with the communities, what Dr. Faizan has said about that is there is no translation of technology reaching to the farmers and they are not adopting it. So what kind of things you have faced in your areas?
So I'll give you one example, sir. I went to sunflowers with my bees, and I harvested, say, 8 quintals in 1 month. I was hoping that after I migrate back to my apiary, there will be farmers around who will be interested in learning this and adapting this integrating this in their farms. No one came. Why? Because I look different and I'm from outside. So we need to create local examples first. First set of local examples will change everything. So identify potential 10 farmers and create local examples that yes, this is possible and results are something like this. Others will follow, sir.
So before coming to Vivek, how Anuja you see that what he has said?
Yeah, I mentioned this during my presentation as well. I feel we are talking about level 2, 3. We're on level -1 right now. We need to reach level 0, which is adoption by farmers. First of all, I mean, from our experience
I'm saying simply you as an example.
in what I think about
But
what
he
he said.
said that the creating a local example. How do you see yourself and your organization as a to create the one of the first example to do
Definitely, that's basically our plan. But we do need serious storytelling, shifting of perception around what role bees play. Also, there's a lot of misconception that honey causes harm to bees, which is why a lot of people don't want to keep bees in their farms. There's also the anxieties around stinging, coexistence with cattle. So we need to really bust a lot of myths, number one, and then start slowly setting examples. And hopefully we'll come up with those 10 farmers soon.
So Vivek, what the Apurva said, what is your experience?
I mean, I am 100% agreeing to what Anuja and Apurva has said. So basically in Ladakh, like based on our discussions also, what we have realized is that one thing is the perception, what Anuja has rightly captured. And more than that, they are also not believing that honey can be possible here. So they don't feel that it is feasible to have that kind, like honey production here. That is one. Second is, if we want to show them something, it is not easily accessible in these areas. For example, if I'm in Disket and if I want to take them to a farm, I myself don't know where exactly we can have that kind of farm where we can take them for an exposure visit. Maybe in Kargil, sir has one, but not many people are willing to travel that much until unless it is not being sponsored or supported by some scheme or some CSR. Third is, if we want to build like some basic infrastructure, so they don't know, even if they invest, for example, 10 rupees, whether they'll be able to generate 2 rupees ka ROI or not. So until and unless there is, we are not pushing it from the policy and from the department side, at least for the initial farmers, so to set up that local entrepreneurs ka ecosystem and to set up that, some good examples, I feel that it will be challenging for us to ensure adaptability on the ground.
Okay, thank you. My last question to this panel is that listening all these things, what kind of policy frameworks do you think that it should come in Ladakh from either national level or UT level? So anyone can start with that.
Yeah, I believe both government as well as non-government organizations, they have a great role to play. I think nothing moves forward without bucks. So you need money. And that's the first thing. I think that's the most important thing. And then definitely the policy makers, they should frame it in a context that they look it for maybe down the line, couple of years, they just look at as something they want to adopt it, not look for certain gains in that. So if the policy, I think, is made keeping that in mind, this is something we want to experiment, we want to adopt it and see how this can be done. Then only maybe these things can move forward. That is one aspect. Other than that, I think again they have to bring all the stakeholders to a common platform. Without having all the players on a one platform, I think it's really challenging. It's difficult. Given my own experiences, like when we try to translate something, unless we have most of, for example, industry people who make the products, people who can sell the product, people who can advertise the product, unless you have all these stakeholders on a common platform, I think this is going to be a really big challenge. If government, non-government, NGOs, organizations like you, if they are able to work out on this, I think it's going forward to be a very successful story, I would say.
Sumit, any quick comment?
Sir, I do believe that government should initiate to start with something, and government should frame a policy which is beneficial for the farmers, because with the panel discussion we came to know that there are very less number of people who are interested into it. So until unless they got some monetary benefit out of it, they should perceive that yes, we will earn more than other things. Then only they can get into the beekeeping. And throughout the panel, I was observed that we are totally discussing about the honey only. We are not discussing about the royal jelly and the other things which we are discussing throughout the 2 days. I think if in one self-help group we purchase royal honey instead of honey, a royal jelly instead of honey, that would be more, what should I say, more encouraging to the farmers. And you can say that this honey is totally free for you. I am not purchasing that. I am totally purchasing the royal honey, the royal jelly and propolis. So similar kind of, on the similar lines, if the government and policy making can be done, and we will get the GI tags on the royal jelly from Ladakh region, then you can get more benefits out of it. Thank you.
So what, Anuja, do you think that bringing from -1 to 0 or 1, what kind of policy support you require?
This is something that did come up when the New Zealand delegation visited us as well. One thing that they are true experts in is that they protect smallholder farmers. And I feel that is something, if somehow can be replicated in Ladakh, will be extremely beneficial. At the moment, the kind of policies that are existing, they are mostly focused on B2B sellers or FPOs and so on and so forth. But right now, with the rise of entrepreneurship that we're seeing, it's mostly D2C, and these are really small farming families, as we call it, that are coming up to surface. So if they are protected somehow, their rights, financials can come later. We had a discussion about it earlier today. I feel that'll really change the game, number one. And number two, I feel, because I also understand that financial compensation cannot always begin at level 0, but what I've also learned on the field is that farmers really value when some sort of marketing training is given to them. What most entrepreneurs feel right now is that they can't story tell, they don't know how to reach the masses. So if level 0 can somehow provide such training through DIC, through other directorates that already exist, that will be extremely valuable, I feel.
Dr. Faizan, you have already narrated that there is a need of apiculture officer or something like a government support in that way. Being an university fellow and you have worked with for a quite long in this region, what kind of policy support you require to do this thing?
Actually, at university level, what we do, we just do primary research. And when this research, the benefit of that research, if it is positive, it has to go to the farmer's field. And that agency is actually department. So there are so many activities or projects taken up by the department, basically in Department of Agriculture and Department of Horticulture. So a special section can be created in those existing schemes, and like MIDH, and in agriculture, they are taking floriculture also. So a special section can be created in the form of apiculture or beekeeping, and that fund can be transferred to any agency which will deal in future with beekeeping aspects. One thing. And there are so many beneficiary oriented schemes that are run by rural development department also. So they can create self-help group, and initially they can help them, and this way this can really come up at 0 level.
So Vivek, you are working here, and Apurva, you have worked somewhere. So what kind of things do you think from your experiences can be translated or can be inducted into the policy framework for honey ecosystem in Ladakh?
Sir, I feel that the first thing that we need is the convergence. in Ladakh, convergence is something which is rarely seen. And if we are able to create convergence between horticulture, apiculture, and the RTT, then I think a lot can be done. And in terms of like policy and like incentivization, I would say like if government can create some sort of policies for SSG groups who are trying to adopt to these, you can say like beekeeping, where we provide them with some sort of support to set up their, you can say like a small orchard or a garden sort of a thing, maybe in a greenhouse or something as some mentioned, and then with a guarantee for the entire buyback of their produce. So it will instill a lot of confidence in the SSG groups to adopt it, and we can see like more and more SSGs and individuals and FPOs would be like interested in taking this ahead. So something in that direction can really help in the like faster adaptation of the beekeeping. Apurva.
Sir, I think straight away I'll tell you, continued support from the government and also from university for the next 10 years. Yeah, straight away I'm telling you. So without this, it will be very difficult. You know, some bureaucrat will come and he will go, and suddenly the project will be there and it will not move forward. So subsidies, grants, and also the hand holding from university should continue for the next 10 years. And then, but it should not reach to a level where a local farmer should not think like, if I don't get subsidy, I will not start beekeeping. So that will have to be taken care by local NGOs and local entrepreneurs, where it should look like a very lucrative business prospect for a local farmer, where he will not be thinking much about only subsidy. He will be thinking about doing subsidiary income also.
Thank you. With this, we have concluded. We have listened all the panelists. I would like to take comments, one or two comments from the audience, our participants, those who, if they want to share something or they want to say on these 2 days proceedings. Anyone? Your wisdom we will listen in validity, sir. So I expect from others.
Sir, sir, I have 2 points to it. Sir, I have 2 points, sir. Sir, so sir, I will talk in Hindi, sir. इस डिस्कशन में सर एक चीज उभर के आया कि फाइनली फार्मर्स आर लेस इंटरेस्टेड, which needs to be addressed. So why farmers are less interested? There are 2 problems. One is migration. उस migration के लिए सर we have to adopt a technology, refine it in Ladakh. Housing, migration, extraction method, वो एक इंस्टीट्यूट बेस्ड पे ये करके फिर इसका क्वालिटी एनालिसिस करके मार्केटिंग के लिए देन ये अगर एडॉप्ट हो गया, ये सक्सेसफुल हो गया, तो फार्मर्स इजीली एडॉप्ट करेंगे सर. सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज आई थिंक वी हैव टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ माइग्रेशन एंड मार्केटिंग. मार्केटिंग में सर हनी का अभी इतना मार्केटिंग ज्यादा है कि लास्ट टाइम हमारे जो स्क्वाश के जो हनी यहाँ पे होता था सर, उसके लिए मार्केटिंग हमें बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता था. मगर उसको एक चीज से हमें मार्केटिंग का फायदा हुआ कि ये हाई एल्टीट्यूड का. तो जिस कंपनी को ड्रैगन को हमने ये दिया था मार्केट ये इसका हनी का, उन्होंने ये लिखा था कि हाई एल्टीट्यूड बकवीट और अल्फा अल्फा हनी. मगर ये जो गवर्नमेंट की जो एजेंसी है सर, उन्होंने उनको क्वेश्चन करना शुरू कर दिया कि कैसे आप बोल सकते हो, व्हाट प्रूफ, व्हाट इंग्रेडिएंट्स आर देयर दैट दिस इज बेस्ट फॉर हेल्थ. तो इसके लिए सर आज जो एक प्रेजेंटेशन हुआ था, तो उसमें बहुत बढ़िया से आया था कि इट हैज हैविंग पॉलीफिनॉल्स वगैरह वगैरह. तो इस पे अगर हम काम करेंगे और उसके बाद जो है माइग्रेशन का ये सॉल्व करेंगे, तो मुझे लगता है सर ये हनी जो है बहुत ही फ्लोरिश हो जाएगा. वी हैव ए ग्राउंड and we need a technology to be adopted, and we need certain quality assurance, and after that I think the honey will bloom in Ladakh. Thank you.
Anyone else? Please.
Yeah. One is the value addition point of view. Some of the speakers have mentioned, and even the panel discussion happened, unless you give value addition component and emphasis, the farmers will not come forward. That is one point. Second thing is the self-help groups. Yes, they are the actual people who help in bringing a economic revolution at the grassroots level. Now, this is actually the international year of a woman farmer. That is, as per United Nations, we are celebrating. So at least under this context, any policy wants to make to the apiculture, if I want to record it, you please record that one. Third thing is consumption patterns of honey. Yesterday speaker, some mentioned 30 grams, some said 25 grams per person per year in India, compared to 130 to 200 grams per year in Germany and other countries. I need not necessarily advocate to promote this one, but promote in perspective of health-wise. The consumption pattern, how to eat honey, first you should know. That is very, very important from the medicinal and also the nutritional point of view. Then only the benefits will be there. Lastly, another thing is the apiculture leads from the CSIR Aroma mission, CSIR Floriculture mission. Aroma mission has just completed third phase. Recently, Vignan Puraskar also they got it. Similarly, floriculture second phase completed, third phase about to start. Under these both the mission mode projects, IIIM Jammu, IHBT Palampur, NIST to Jorhat, they did lot of work. But surprisingly, it is my dismay, I didn't find anyone in this conference. So probably your partners from this Kargil and other people, you can approach the IIIM Jammu also, nearest thing, and IHBT Palampur. Whatever leads they have in that one, if you take a clues from them, then probably it will be helpful to you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Great. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. And Acha, okay.
Hello, sir. Good evening. I like to address one key answer for this event. In afternoon session, our VC sir asked how we are tackle the food in the cold time for the honeybees. I studied a lot of papers based on that, so I have an answer for it. I like to share with everyone. In not only in Ladakh region, like a cold deserts kind of different world regions, like they are also doing apiculture. Like particularly, I have to mention in Uzbekistan, it's called Kasilvania region, and North America, Nevada, and Gobi Desert in China. They are also particularly doing apiculture in a exactly cold climate condition of Ladakh. How they are feeding the honeybees are, they're using particularly two feeds. Main one is carbohydrate related supplements, another one is protein related supplements. Because like us a human, every day we eat dal chawal, it make very boring, and sometimes we don't eat also. Same like that to honeybee also. If you give more honey syrup to the honeybee, it will be very fed up on this. So what are the things they are doing is they are giving in a various ratios, and the season starting they are giving in 1:1 ratio of sugar carbohydrate supplement. In carbohydrate supplement, it mainly present of white cane sugar with the water in a 1:1 ratio in a starting stage, and upcoming the peak winters they are changing the thing to 2:1 ratio, 2% of sugar and 1% of water. Then the main another supplement is protein based supplement. The protein based supplement, how they are making is based on the protein patties. How they are making the protein patties is in the flowering season, they collect the more amount of the migrant, like the pollen patties they collected, and they preserve it in the cold storage. They use it in a harsh winter climates. Why? Because we have to give a protein supplements. It will give the essential amino acids and lipid and vitamins to the honeybee. It will give a good growth and a sustainable life to the honeybee.
So you are saying that now the technologies are available.
Yes, sir.
Those can be adopted in this kind of environment.
Yes, sir. And soy
especially
flour
which is a
milk also they're
bottleneck
giving.
about this winter session. So there are technologies available in other parts of the world.
Yes, sir.
It is like that.
We can adapt the same system.
Yeah, right.
That time the bees will be sustainably live in the same Ladakh region.
Okay, we got it, your point.
Okay.
Dolma, now please.
Yes, sir. In the research part, a university can play an important role since our CSEC lab has facilities like TLC and FTR. So the extraction of phenolic and the flavonoid compound can be extracting by the university, sir.
Thank you, Dolma. She brought this very good point of discussion that when we are going to do the material analysis of honey for different elements present there. So now at University of Ladakh, we have a very state-of-art laboratory available. So you don't have to take honey out of the UT Ladakh for analysis. And most of the things which she learned in 2 days, that all the elements we can analyze in our CSIC lab. So that is a good point you brought it. Thank you very much. So in nutshell, if I let me conclude it, this discussion, and is there a question? Okay, please.
Sir, I don't have a question, but I have an observation in Ladakh.
Please.
I have an observation that no, Ladakh, for centuries, decades, they have produced their own self-sufficient food. Likewise, honey is a new thing for us. I have observed that dairy market, milk market has been highlighted very recently, and there are so many entrepreneurs doing dairy business. So they have a good networking source of these forage grasses, especially alfalfa. So they have farmers. They want, there is a chance that they diversify their income. So they are doing great in this dairy business, but they can be given alternate of this honey production also, because they are like in Kargil and Leh, there are few good entrepreneurs who have a lot of money to invest to diversify. As one of the panelists highlighted that the farmers are not adopting, but these dairy entrepreneurs have a good network in farming sector also. So the grass they buy, it can also add value at this honey one. That's a suggestion.
Thank you. Anyone, or we conclude the session? Okay, thank you. So this session brought few interesting things. That one is that thinking of brand Ladakh and GI tech for the Ladakh honey. And we have to, if we can say that we have a very niche product from this landscape. The volume is low, but the price we can fetch is high. This is one. And another thing came into the discussion is that investment in research. That is what much more required to do all the domains of the honey ecosystem, not only on the product. Then a lot of bottlenecks were listed by our panelists and other participants. But interesting thing came into that advertisement. One more suggested that in aeroplane also, if you can say, and you can buy the honey as a souvenir. This is a very good way of marketing and thing. I will just share only one example. In 2009, when I came first time in Ladakh, that time in aeroplane, before landing, there was a full demonstration and instructions regarding high altitude sickness in every plane. And also big posters and all other things were clearly demonstrated in each hotel and guest houses. This practice has diluted, because that time we were very much aware when we are coming that what kind of precautions we have to take. So I think that strategy we can take further in advertising in a bigger way, that if you are taking honey from the Ladakh as a souvenir, it will certainly boost the awareness and many other things. Consumer awareness and niche product is but the synchronization with flowering season. And this young boy said that there are technologies available which we consider usually bottleneck for that purpose is also. And we can bring honey as an ecosystem like apiculture, tourism, where you said learning experiences. So it will give a boost to our awareness and the marketing strategies.
the most important thing coming to the policy framework is the basically finance, creating a government infrastructure to support the initiative. And this royal jelly product, if we can bring this together with the honey as a product, training and convergence to farmers field, especially integration with other ongoing government schemes. If we can integrate with that, those kind of things, they are distilled wisdom from this parallel session. So I once again thanks to all the panelists and our participants to take active participation in this. Thank you very much. हाँ वही कर लो उसको दबाओ वो बुलाइए 2-3 को ठीक कर ले उसको और बुलाओ स्टेज बना ले वो सीधा कर और कहां है